What is up, Minneapolis and the world? Welcome to the first episode of FUT City. This is the show by Minneapolis City, featuring Minneapolis City players who also happen to be amazing FIFA pros, and of course me. The show is going to follow the journey of two high-achieving FUT players, and we're really going to get the inside story on how to build a competitive Ultimate Team from scratch. The first thing I have to do, I'd be remiss without introducing our FUT pros, our FIFA pros. First up, we have Jonah Garcia, Minneapolis City defender and lower league E-Cup runner-up. Jonah plays on the Xbox, and we crossed paths in the FIFA world last spring and into the summer as he competed and went deep into the lower league E-Cup. Just to lose in the finals, which was too bad. Of course, when Jonah was in the conversation as the premier Minneapolis City FIFA player, Max Stiegwardt raised his hand and said, "Hey, what about me?" So I also have to introduce Max Stiegwardt, Minneapolis City midfielder, Minneapolis City SC captain, also playing on an Xbox. Max, you switched over from the PlayStation this year. What, just so you can compete with Jonah?
Unfortunately not. For some reason, I guess Xbox servers, they you get better gameplay in Minnesota with the Xbox. So I was getting, when you go into a game, it says about the latency you get in games. So with PS4, I was getting about 38 to 44, and with Xbox, I get about 18 to 20. So I went from having 4-bar games to 5-bar games. Really nerdy stuff, but it does make a big difference.
That's high performance stuff for sure.
For sure.
And then I'll introduce myself. My name is Nate Morales. I am the game day voice of Minneapolis City. I am the host, one of the co-hosts of the People's Pitch podcast, and I am just your average schlub trying to get into Ultimate Team. It's one of those things that when everyone went in quarantine, got into more than ever because we had nowhere to go, and I realized I had a lot to learn. So I'm really happy that these guys could join us and walk everyone through how to be a successful competitive Ultimate Team player. Now, the game comes out Friday, tomorrow, right? For some of us that pre-ordered, the game came out on Tuesday, October 6th. For you guys, because you were EA All Access members, you got 10 hours of gameplay starting October 1st. But that's not even when the goodness began, because the key to success at this level is the web app. And the web app, the FIFA 21, the FUT 21 web app launched September 30th, last Wednesday. So we're a week deep into this. Let's talk a little bit about what the web app looked like, what you were looking for there, and really what the benefits of getting in early are. So really, you go to the FIFA web app, and what are you looking at when you first log in, Jonah?
Yeah, I can kick that one off. So yeah, you're just logging in. I mean, no gameplay allowed. Again, just pull it up on your computer. You're just looking for right away. They're called your welcome backpacks. You're just hoping that EA is going to give you something good to start the year. This year they were super generous though, because they gave everybody 4 packs as soon as you logged in. Yeah. And that was a minimum 15,000 coins. If you discarded everything, like if you opened those packs and you just immediately tossed it all, it would give you an immediate 15,000 coins. So you're obviously hoping to get something that's worth more than that. So when I opened mine, I packed Mikel Antonio, the striker for West Ham, who at the time sold for 11,000 coins. So then when you open those additional packs, you just take those coins, and I just started to look in the market right away because nobody has a lot of coins at the time because they're only limited to those packs. You can't upload FIFA points or anything or open packs with money. You're just stuck with those packs and whatever return you get. So I just took that and I started buying players that I knew would go up in price. And I don't know, do you want me to get into it now, just kind of how the market looked, or we want to save that?
We'll jump into it in a sec, because it's kind of like a weird high pressure economic situation, right? Where everyone's got very limited assets to start. You get 4 packs. Hopefully you get some good players. But like you said, at most, even if you sold everyone, you're getting 12,000 coins. And everyone then has to go on the transfer market and compete for the players that they think are going to build the best team. And for some of us, people like me, kind of floundering, if you don't take advantage of it as fast as possible, if you haven't done your research or don't have a plan, you're just kind of trying to put something together based on a whim every time you log in. But for you guys, Max, Jonah, and maybe we can talk about this. You've been making plans and kind of had a target team set up ahead of time, right, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a lot of it goes from last year's meta. So just a quick example was last year, people really early found out that Eder Militao was really big time. So you saw a card like that go extinct right away early this year, until, EA has to refresh the cap price on it. So, think people are looking for those deals right away. Some even look to invest in those, to grab those, hold until the cap will rise so they can make some profit on them. So it's a very competitive market right away.
So initial pack. Oh, go ahead, Jonah.
Yeah, I bought 3 of him. So he's a Brazilian center back for Real Madrid. He's only 80 rated. So at the beginning, people just list him up to because they just need the coins to go build whatever teams they want. So I bought 3 of him at 7,000 coins, and I held on to him until he went extinct when people got onto the game with early access, the 10 hours. People couldn't even pick him up for 20 because as soon as you listed him, someone was buying him because he was that in demand. So as soon as they lifted the cap, he jumped immediately to 38,000. And I sold 3 of him for 38,000 each that I had originally bought for 7. So right there, I just made 120,000 coins. And then you take that and you continue to build and purchase more players that are going to go up. So
it's amazing to me, and I never would have guessed that the early game really of FIFA is this fast-paced, high-stakes speculators market where you're trying to make your coins as fast as possible, because it gives you quite a boost to know exactly who to invest in and who not to. I mean, that period of time is gone. There's no really use speculating or talking about who the next big players are. But I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about how your initial pack openings went. I know, Jonah, before the show we were talking, and you really lucked out with a couple great players in your 4 packs that FIFA gave you. I did not. I think my rares were pretty weak compared to you. But let's talk each of you guys about maybe who your top players were that you opened right away, and what that meant for if they fit in your squad or if they were just moneymakers.
Yeah, so like I said, I got Mikel Antonio, because we're talking just those 4 that EA gifts you, right?
Yeah, just those
packs.
first 4, and because this is all about really returning players who really want to get a leg up on the game, right? So everyone's getting these 4 packs because they played FIFA 20, and they're coming back to 21.
Yep. So out of all that, it was really only Mikel Antonio, the striker card, and because he's super fast, really strong, he was going to sell for a lot at the time. Other than that, I didn't get anything else, some rare players that maybe sold for 1,000 or 1,500. So I did end up making 25,000, which is a good amount. I was able to buy a lot of Brazilians that I wanted in my team early on. I bought Paulinho, center mid who plays in the Chinese league now. I bought him for 4,000 coins, and then 3 days later it was worth 20,000. So I could then just go and sell him as I didn't want him anymore, and I had more money in my club to where I could buy better players that are in my team now. So yeah, I didn't get too lucky with the packs either, but just enough here and there to get that initial 25,000 and start building.
How about you, Max?
Yeah.
So I was on a little different scenario. Since I switched over from PS4 to Xbox, I wasn't able to get onto the web app right away. So I didn't have any packs waiting for me since I switched over.
Disadvantage.
Yeah. So it was quite a disadvantage. So I had to wait till the next day to get the 10 hours to do all the kind of pack opening and things like that. So my first initial thing, once I got on the 10-hour early access, I had missed out on a lot of trading windows. But my first thing was open my packs, build my team, and then whatever I get, I need to sell right away just to start building coins, to either make some investments or start building the team early on, because people know that, as soon as you buy players, people are just selling players to get coins right away. So if you can pick up players like Dembele, low-rated players that people use, they're going to triple, even quadruple in price by, the last day of early access or before pre-order days.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So what do you guys, when you're looking at your players that you open, and when you're looking on the market, what are you valuing in a player, A, that you're hoping to resell, And then who are you trying to keep? Like, what are you looking for in players that you want on your team? Max, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, Stiggy, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I think this year so far we've learned that the meta is very pacey. So I think pacey attackers are very, very big right away.
Okay.
So players like Lucas from Tottenham, players like Mpls from Barca, Rashford's really big this year. Promes from the Dutch league is doing well. Same with defenders in general. You want defenders to be able to keep up with those pacey attackers. So I think players right away that are high rated, you want to sell to get your coins on. And a lot of the times, a player like Harry Kane, unfortunately, is just not very usable if for the meta style, at least, to be running in behind defender's line. But if you play kind of a slower build up, maybe, a hold up striker, maybe that is more for your game. So I think it depends on the way you want to play the game as well.
That's something we can get into too. Like this year, FIFA gave you more variety on what players you could use. Like Max said, like pace is super important, but like they also made it to where, like, if you don't want to play that play style, you could get away with like using a big boy like Harry Kane and whipping crosses into the box. Yeah. Yes, you'll score goals, but it's not like the most useful way to do it, but you can actually do it. Whereas last year on FIFA 20, if you crossed a ball, like it was just like, oh, thanks for giving me the ball back because it's not going to do anything, and that's what it was. But now they at least give you the option, and heading's a little easier, and crosses are pretty strong. So
sure,
that they've done a good job so far with FIFA 21. I'm just hoping they don't mess it up when they patch the game. So right. I'm sure Max can say the same.
Well, let's take a look at the initial squad builds, guys, and where you've landed after a week of wheeling and dealing and a little bit of competition. We'll start with you, Max, when we pull your screen up, and we'll take a look at your guys and kind of talk about, rating, chemistry, who are your stars, who you want to keep, who you're looking to move out. First things first, Max, if you're not familiar with FIFA Ultimate Team, each team is rated in a number, by rating a 1 to 100 based on what, like, the aggregate or the average of all your players. But then they've got this chemistry rating. Talk a little bit about, guys, why chemistry is so important to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the guys that, are just getting into Ultimate Team or don't know too much about it, or, maybe are curious about it, chemistry is basically like your squad morale in Ultimate Team. And, some people say, oh, but maybe you don't need chemistry if I have high rated players. I thought that for a while too. But for example, here, let's say I throw in Verratti here, over Frankie de Jong. As you see, that would give my team a -10 chemistry, right? So then here, a guy like Sissoko, who I've put a shadow on, which gives him plus pace and plus defending, he's going to get less of that ability card because my team chemistry is lower. So I think at all times you want your team chemistry to be at 100 or as close to 100 as you can to get the most out of your players that you can.
That's something I had no idea about. So you can get these cards through the course of the game that basically are roles that your players will play. Whether you're a shadow, you've got Hawk, there's Sniper, there's other ones for defenders, right? Gladiator, right. Things like that. I had no idea that those ability boosts were tied to chemistry.
Yep, absolutely. So like if my team chemistry, was, like I said, let's say I put in Verratti here, goes down 10 there. Maybe I put in, Joao Felix up here, goes down another 7. Now a guy like, let's say Mendy here, or let's say like Promes here he has red links all around him, so he's on 5 chem. From my Deadeye, he's going to get a lot less than if my squad chemistry was on 100. So he's only getting +2 attacking positioning there, +2 finishing. But when that's at 100, he's going to get a lot more. So I'll put in Frankie back here, right? I'll put in Joao Felix back up here. Now we're at 100, right? And it was +2 before. Now it's +7, +7, +11. So it's a very, very big difference there.
Wow. So you're saying obviously if you're going up, if you're matchmaking, if I'm playing and I'm going up against a guy that's maybe got a 78, 75 rated squad, but his chemistry is 100, those players could be performing well above their 78 rating, right? Because of the chemistry.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Interesting. All right. So Max, walk us through your squad and kind of where you are hoping to go with it in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So my squad here, it's about 1,300,000 coins. That was from a little bit of investment early on, and then 12K FIFA points right at the beginning, just opening packs. And I got pretty lucky in packing Info and Bruno Fernandes from last week. But this squad is very, very meta. I've got in game. So if I go to my, it won't let me right now, but if I clear these guys that I will be buying here tonight, Allison and Wan-Bissaka. So in game, a lot of people don't know this either. You can start the game in this formation, but then with your custom tactics, you go into a different one. So in game, I like to go into a 4-1-2-1-2. It's very attacking based, and I'll play Dembele and Rashford up top. I will use Frankie De Jong as my left center mid. Sissoko will go as my right center mid. And then I'll have Quincy Promes as my attacking mid, Lucas Moura as my right center mid, Van Dijk, Varane, and Mendy across the back it'll be Bissaka and Allison in goal. So that team right there, just very, very meta team so far. Pace is what we've learned is very good. 5-star skillers as well is very good. If you're a skiller based, you can do some fancy skill moves to get away from pressure. So Dembele here being, 5-star, you kind of get the best of everything with him. He's kind of like a cheap Neymar, they call him, just because he can shoot as well with either foot, or he can get away with his fancy little footwork as well. And then Rashford being 4-star weak foot, 5-star skills as well up top with some good pace will have some trouble for defenders. But yeah, absolutely. And I think going forward, the upgrades I want to make eventually will be Neymar and Mbappe up here. That'll be the big upgrades, I think.
So that's an interesting tactic, and it's something that Jonah, we talked about when you were in the E Cup, was you set your squad up for optimal chemistry pregame, and that 100 chemistry rating lasts for the rest of the game, no matter what formation you're putting him in throughout the gameplay. So Max, in your case, you're playing guys out of position, which would of course give them a huge chemistry, a huge drop in chemistry if you tried to do it in this screen. But once you do it in a game, they maintain that 100 rating. That's awesome.
Correct.
Yep.
Jonah, let's crack your team open and take a look. It seems like Max is a little bit more in flux than maybe you were.
Yeah, so what I got going is like a half Brazilian team and then half La Liga. So I actually got, and this is one thing like that I could touch on, like me and Max both used FIFA points on the initial 10-hour access just to get more coins into the club. But like honestly, you don't need it. Like and it's not really required because so there's what we call squad building challenges, which are there for everybody to do. And there's some really good ones at the beginning. They're called League and Nation hybrids. And I got more out of those, which are technically free, than I did of the $120 I spent. So out of that, like just on my bench here, you can see I packed Timo Werner out of one of those. So it's a first owner. He's tradable, so I could list him up right now, and he would sell for 260,000 coins. I also packed Dybala, who I already sold. And then out of those, I got a Roberto Firmino, who's untradeable. So like right there, I got better players than I got out of all of the packs I opened in that 10-hour access. So it's not needed. Like, yes, it helps just to get the coins in the club, but anyone can go and get super lucky just out of the SBCs that are there. But yeah, so I got my Brazilian players here, Premier League Brazilian players, which are super expensive, but they're just really good at the start of the game. And like this Allen right here in center mid is an investment because he goes out of packs tomorrow. This gold card specifically because his special card comes into packs, which is a one to watch due to his transfer to Everton. So this card will be out of packs, meaning a lot more people are going to want him, and there will be less of him on the market. So his price will shoot up. That's the same reason I'm holding Timo Werner on the bench, is because he'll probably go up another 50 to 60K while he is out of packs. So just like making those choices and just like being patient and holding on to them. And then our young man over here. Yeah.
Is that just based on the rarity? Like, because they're going to be replaced by these one to watch cards, which will go up. Their stats will only go up from here. So the fact that just because these are out of rotation, they're going to increase in value means that there's some weird quirks to this market that I guess I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, because those one to watches are going to be super expensive because they do upgrade if their player gets an inform. So they're going to be way more expensive, like double in price of their gold card. So people aren't going to have the coins for those one to watch cards quite yet. At least like 95% of the FIFA playing population won't. So they're going to look to these gold cards, which there will be less of on the market, meaning they will go up because demand's there.
All right.
So
you were pointing out
be patient and hold them for a little longer.
You're pointing out Ansu Fati up there.
Ansu Fati. Yeah, so he got an inform, but I'm just waiting until tomorrow And this will be a good cheap one for anyone that's starting to go do. He's going to get a player of the month. So he's going to get an 84 card. So even better than the one that I've got up on the screen here. And that'll be a squad building challenge. So you
All
don't
right.
actually need coins, you need players. And that'll drop tomorrow at 12. So I'm just going to wait patiently and see if the card looks any good. And I'll probably be putting him into my team. So that way I can sell this one and take that other one.
So this is the squad you've been playing with. How have you guys both been doing so far in the 10 hours of early access you've got, and since Tuesday playing some rivals?
We did match each other once because we're both in Division 1, top division in FIFA.
Oh, really? And
so
you just ended up running into each other.
Yeah, random match. Max beat me 3-2.
So Jonah, you're
It was a
36, 7 and 6.
Yeah.
That's not a bad start to the year. How
Yeah,
about you, Max?
I'm 54, 3 and 9.
That's a lot more games played, but I guess you had to. You had to make up a lot of coins that you missed out on from last Wednesday, huh?
Yep.
Well, just for S's and G's, Tyler, let's pull up my initial squad, and I'm really excited to show you guys my first stab at Wednesday night wheeling and dealing. I was able to, over the course of a couple of days, take your advice. I think we were texting back and forth on Wednesday, and you basically said dump everyone that wasn't on the market already for less than 1,000, or that was on the market already for less than 1,000, right? And you said hang on to people from that might be from good nations, that might be in demand. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the pack openings that maybe you guys got. So let's take a look here. We'll pop it up on the stream.
Yep.
But this is the approach that I went. Started off, I felt pretty good about this 80 rated, 95 chem starting squad.
There you go.
I went for Tolisso as my biggest money splash. I think I bought him for something like a little less than 3,000 coins, which feels pretty good. Otherwise, Playa, Embolo, Cruza, like all these guys, like Palacio was maybe 1,800, but all these guys, otherwise I was trying to maybe be a little too conservative because I wasn't about to be wheeling and dealing. I didn't really have the knowledge like you guys of like throw a bunch of cash at guys that I know are going to raise in value and sit on them for a day or two and then cash in. I needed to spend my money wisely because I wasn't sure I'd get more. So
and you got a really good start.
I'm glad to feel good about this. Tyler, let's bring up what I've got now, because I've made a couple after a few 3 squad battles games played. I don't have a ton of time because I got this wee baby at home. But after 3 squad battles time and picking up this Mbappe loan, which by the way is an objective to play with Mbappe and get some rewards, get some more experience. I bumped my chemistry up and bumped the rating up 1. So as soon as we pull this one up, we can talk about that. But it's just moving Mbappe up instead of Embolo. I opened another French midfielder, I believe, that I forget his name even. But and then I bought that French CDM right there from Wolfsburg. So I'm just trying to game my chemistry a little bit, right? See this little bump. So I'm feeling pretty good about this 81.99 Bundesliga slash France start, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's something that's like super smart for anyone that's starting with not a lot of coins, like picking a nation like that just has so many players that are cheap and are good for the game, that are super usable even when they are lower rated, like Brazil, like Spain, like France, especially France is the best route you can go if you're looking to pick a team that you can just like slowly start to improve. And then long term, you aim for the big boys if you ever get there, like Conte, like Varane, like Mbappe, whatever it be. But there's like low tier of all of those French players and so many of them to upgrade. Just from there, like you have a good base. So
I'm feeling all right, and I think I prioritize accidentally prioritize pace with Embolo. Really happy to have him on the squad. Prioritize pace on defense more than anything. All those guys on my back line are super fast. That's why I liked that camera guy at left back too, because his pace is out of this world. Sar, even though he's rated low, nice pace. So I'm hoping to be able to make a little bit of noise once I join rivals. I'll tell you guys what, I'm not excited about starting the Rivals process because if you don't know, if you don't know, you've never tried before, the first thing they make you do is play 5 randomized matches just to test your skill. And I think over the couple of times I've ever done that, I maybe win one, and it feels really
they're tough games,
really bad.
Yeah, and especially this year, you get coins once you get placed and you go up in divisions. So people are try-harding a lot harder than they would in previous years for sure.
So you get
just to touch on that a little bit more, what Stiggy was saying. So like you play your 5 placement games, and obviously you're trying to win as many as possible. So I'll use mine for an example. I won all 5, and by winning all 5, you get placed in Division 2, and this year you get all of the coins from Division 10 up until Division 2. The coins you would get had you started at Division 10 and promoted yourself all the way up. So you get all of the coins. It just skips it all because I did so well in my placement that FIFA just immediately gave me 124,000. So just like that, I win my 5 games, 124,000 coins, right into the bank. So which helped both of us because we both went 5-0.
Yeah.
So we had a bunch of coins on day number 2 to then start buying more players.
Yep.
So you guys have had a lot of play experience already with your 10 hours of early access, your pre-order time since Tuesday. You've been playing Rivals. How you found the dynamic runner controls that they have instituted this year? Have you been working with them, or haven't really messed with it yet?
I hear they're good, but like I like keeping it basic. Like there's 2 that I use that are more simple. It's call a player to you and send one individual player on a run. When it gets to that next level of multiple dynamic runs, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
I like to keep it simple. I like my skill moves. I like my 1-2s. I like just calling a player, sending a player. But when it gets to those dynamic ones, it's a lot to think about and a lot of room for error as well. I don't know if Stiggy's the same, but I'm sure you could touch on it. So.
Yeah, no, I think I've seen some pro players get some clips on Twitter about them using it, and it's very, very, very quality if you can get it off. But like Jonah said, I haven't had time to mess around with it too much, but it is very, very useful just because you can initially, right, if you're making, let's say you're making a run into the box, you can just hold the guy from running in and hold his run as the AI is tracking him back. And initially he'll be left alone for a one-on-one or a tap-in header or a tap-in pass. So if you get good at it, I would 100% recommend it to do it because it could be game changer for you. But it is very hard because you're also looking at your AI taking over player who's not, or if he's getting pressured, right, you have to switch back to him or make him pass the ball. So it is kind of, you have to have like fly eyes almost and just be aware of it, of the situation.
Might be
Max,
something
it's
that you
kind of
have
like
to,
time finishing from 19.
Yeah, exactly.
might be something you have to practice a little bit more in the squad battles mode, which is a little less competitive, where you can drop the difficulty down until you nail it and maybe can bring it up.
That would be a good spot to practice.
Yeah. And also if Tyler, you want to pop over to my screen real quick just to show guys another way to make coins, go through your club and just, if you see silvers from, the top 10 nations such as Spain, Brazil, Dutch guys like this, they sell for a little bit of coins. So like this silver guy is going for, sold him for 800. This Brazilian guy is going for about $1,000. There's another big one here. Where was he? He was another, I believe Brazil. Oh, this guy right here, this right back Portuguese guy. There was only two of them on the whole market for $10K. What? So I put him up for $8K. So hopefully he'll sell. But things like that is you should just check your club out for guys like this that will sell for a little bit.
What's your approach to the timing on putting guys up for auction? Do you do 1 hour? Do you do 6 hours? Put them up for a whole day?
I think it depends. If I'm going to bed at night, if I want to sell something overnight, I'll put them up for 6 hours. So that way, I don't have to worry about relisting them in the middle of the night. So if it's things like that, I'll put them up all day. But then during the day, usually just an hour, because sometimes prices might fluctuate. So maybe you have a guy selling for 20K, you don't sell him, but then maybe a couple hours later he's selling for 30K. So the market is always changing. So I think during the day it's good to just put them up for an hour. Overnight you can get away with it a little more because obviously not many people are on the game.
Have you guys experienced any other gameplay changes so far? Like Jonah, you mentioned that it's possible to pop crosses into the box and go for headers as a strategy this year, where last year it definitely was not. Are headers easier? Is there anything else that's gotten harder?
Yeah, so there's multiple approaches you can take this year to your play style. Last year there was really only one way to play if you wanted to really compete. Just direct sit in and defend and attack, and
Yeah.
even then half the time the counterattacks wouldn't work, and then you would have to just hold possession in your attacking third, so their defensive third, and look for, realistically, it was an isolation between the striker and the center back, and then just do some sort of skill move and score. And that was like the one way to play and beat players at the higher competitive levels. You can go counterattack, you can cross the ball. If a team is sitting back, just keep whipping in crosses. A big boy will eventually put a header on it and score. Me and Max both play pretty similar, where we just like to go box to box quick.
Mm-hmm.
Quick build up, we get down, skill move here into space, and then go, and then we defend again if it doesn't work. Neither of us really like to hold on to the ball and just sit on it. Some players do, but it's super boring. But if you take that approach, then it can work for you. So that's super nice about this year, is there are multiple ways. There's no one way to win games.
That's nice. Max, any other hints that you've seen so far at shifts in the meta? We talk about the meta a lot, and sometimes a little bit tongue in cheek, but really it is what makes the game, right? It demands attention, because it means you're gonna have to adjust your squad, adjust your play style, and like you said, Jonah, last year everyone adjusted their play style to be exactly the same. Do you see any trends or anything in the future, Max, that you could maybe predict when it comes to how the meta plays out?
Yeah, I think right away, the game this year, like Jonah said, you have so much more variation, but the game is a lot more manual than it's been for a while now. Defensively, it's very hard to defend. Previous years you've kind of been reluctant or just able to rely on the AI to defend for you. And this year, if you're not controlling the player manually, you're getting beat. So I think that's going to be a very big skill gap this year. So player switching, a lot of people just switch with LB or L1. And a lot of people don't know that if you just flick your right stick, you can switch faster to the player in the direction you're pointing.
Yeah, man, so flicking the stick is the way to go.
Yep. So if you get good at flicking the sticks, you can be very, very good at manually defending this game. So I think that's a big thing to look out for sure.
Little different than last year, where you just hope to keep control of your center defensive mid and let the AI take over on your center backs and your back lines.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice. What about you, Jonah? Anything,
it just
seeing?
Increases the skill gap. No, but just to touch on that a little more, like there's a bigger skill gap now.
Mm-hmm.
It truly shows like who the better FIFA player is. And in FIFA 20, like I would catch myself like too often, just like even if I was winning the game, like I was still like angry with the game. Like I wasn't satisfied. Whereas like even if I'm losing in FIFA 21, it's like, all right, this person's beating me straight up.
Mm-hmm.
They're just playing better at the moment. Or if I win, it's super satisfying because I know I beat them properly, which is super nice. So people are pretty happy with FIFA 21 at the moment.
It's a complicated emotional relationship with the Ultimate Team competition, because I'm the same way. Yes. Like, yeah, I play if I play division rivals, or if I'm playing competitively at all. You can walk away so mad because it feels so unfair that somebody in your division is that much better. And I was always like Division 9, Division 10, and I'm thinking like, how are these many good people tanking their 5 games just to claw back up the rating? Like that doesn't feel fair. So this year, that's good to hear.
I know, like imagine winning a game and still being mad. Like
So looking ahead, guys, I mean, this is the point in the show when ordinarily we'd be opening some packs. You'd have some rewards from the weeks before. Not so much this time, because like both you guys said, you took the coins. You needed that money. You needed to invest them in players. And cracking packs right now has a pretty limited upside until a lot more players are released, right? When it comes to team of the week, ones to watch, special seasonal players and things like that. But next time, and looking ahead to then and every show after, where you guys each compete in the weekend league, right? And so talk a little bit about that, Max, and what the weekend leagues are, and how you got into it, and second, what that means for your rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys want to come over to my screen real quick, we could do just like a visual representation of it, just so
Yeah.
guys can, can learn from it for sure. But yeah, I think I started playing Weekend League back in my sophomore year in college. We had one PlayStation in our living room, and we would switch off because back then it was 40 games. You had from Thursday night to Sunday night, right before, the AM. So right back then it was 40 games, which was a struggle, and we weren't
brutal.
too good at it. So I think we finished around 10 to 15 wins back then. Then when I kept going in it, I got a little better, just trying to get better wins as you go. So as you see here, this from FIFA 20, I think FIFA 19 and up, it went back to 30 games. So now, the better you have out of 30 games, the more wins you get, the better rewards you get. So a lot of guys,
Okay.
they just try to get to 11 to 14 wins in this range. And here you can see the rewards you'll get. But, I think it's a very competitive atmosphere because guys, the more wins, the more rewards you get. So I'm usually hitting between Elite 1 and Elite 2. That was my going off last year, which you get in Elite 1, you get 2 Premium Team of the Week packs, which is whatever Team of the Week is out, you'll get 3 players. You get that times 2. You get 2 Jumbo Rare Players pack, which is 24, 24, 24. And then this year they added these untradeable random gold packs, which will just be nice because you're just opening more packs, and you also get 125,000 coins. So
so if you do well enough in the Weekend League, you could get 6 Team of the Week players just as a reward.
Yep, and they're all tradable as well. So then if you get
crap.
This year they added the top 200, which is going to be even more competitive. If you get in here, you get an Ultimate Team of the Week pack, which is 11 Team of the Week
11.
players.
All the whole team. Oh, the rich keep getting richer. Come on.
Exactly.
So this year it's going to be a very, very competitive year for try to hit in that top 200 range. And this is top 200 in the world. So it's, the best 200 players at the weekend in the world are in that range.
Wow. So then talk to me a little bit about, let's go back into your rewards, because I have a question about these champions points.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then what would that mean? So you have 2,000 FUT champs points, you get less or more. What are those rewards?
So every week you need a certain amount of champions points to re-qualify for the next weekend league, right? So you do that by playing division rivals. You get champions points, after every win, even after a loss, you get a couple. Mm-hmm. So the better you do, the more champions points you get. But I think it's 14 wins gets you a guaranteed entrance into the next weekend league.
Okay.
This year, Silver 1 only gets you 1,500, so 11 wins will get you 1,500, which still gets you really, really close. You'd only need probably 4 to 5 wins throughout the weekend division rivals to get back into the weekend league, which is very achievable. So it's
Max and I don't even we don't even think about that at that point anymore, because at our Division 1, it's per win 500 qualification points. So you only need 2,000 to qualify for a weekend league. But if you are in the lower divisions, it can be like 40 champions points. So you're playing like 20 games plus to qualify for one weekend league. Yeah. So it could be a pain in the ass. So that's why you do want to either get those in the weekend league, or you're gonna have to just play a lot of games over the week to re-qualify. But yeah, at the higher divisions, like in the where we place, like we just don't even think about it anymore. It's just like we're automatically placed.
Yeah.
But it is important to get those points, because it can be a pain in the ass to go back and play a bunch of games to go again. So
in the chat, Sleepheart said he hasn't won 11 FIFA games his entire life, and I'm with you. Like for a second, I'm thinking, oh man, so not just any schlub FIFA dad like myself can join the weekend league. Like you have to be successful throughout the weekend rivals in order to really make the big bucks and to be high competitive. So I mean, I think that's interesting. That's an interesting thing to point out, in that through the course of the show, the trajectory of how you guys play the game is going to differ very differently than how I end up playing the game. And I think our initial squads show that as well, that you're going to be competing at a much higher level. You're going to be competing at probably the highest level that the game can offer. Meanwhile, I'm going to be hoping to hang on to, 1 or 2 rivals wins a week just to get those extra rewards out of those. Definitely do the squad battles to make sure I get those guaranteed rewards. Taking on making sure I'm knocking those objectives back, getting rewards out of that sort of thing. Squad building challenges. I'm definitely going to have a different approach, because it's a little more low impact, I guess, than you guys. So as we go forward, we'll talk a little bit more about the results of the weekend leagues every time you guys compete. Hopefully we'll be able to get some match highlights out of you guys. If you record your gameplay and upload maybe the coolest things or feature some cool moments, that would be really amazing. And then, Jonah, like you said, there's going to be some squad building challenges that come out where you trade a team of players with high chemistry, with nation requirements or team requirements or league requirements, right? That reward you with really, really good players. And if we complete those, we definitely want to feature those players that we're completing. Any cool objectives that we complete, we'll feature that as well. Definitely going to go into live pack openings. The more rewards you guys get, the more packs you're going to get. You're going to want to open them. You're going to want to see the cool shit you crack, especially if you get the team of the week packs, and we can see some of these really baller players week in and week out.
Those are very exciting, but they also can be very heartbreaking at times.
when you get the silver team of the week player.
Yeah, when there's a 95 Messi out in there, and then you end up hitting an 82 rated player who just quick sells.
Yep. Not fun, but that's all right. I mean,
it'll be
cool for someone like me who never sees that, and cool for hopefully the viewers. And then finally,
as we progress week to week,
we'll talk about new signings, players that you sell, players that you trade in, and how your teams evolve, because it'll be interesting to at the end of as the year moves on to compare the way your teams look as you pull in teams of the week, ones to watch, there's special seasonal cards that come out every Christmas. There's something, every Halloween there's something, right? There's always cool additions of players that have their own benefits and their own drawbacks compared to others. So it'll be definitely awesome to see that evolution. But we are also going to have some interactive segments brewing. Right now, this doesn't make too much sense because everyone's team looks like mine, like total garbage. But we will be doing a segment that we're going to call Foot Squad Rescue. So if over the course of the year, you are just confounded by your terrible squad and its total inability to perform, you want to look for maybe some formation suggestions or player suggestions that would help you improve your gameplay. You're going to just want to take a screen grab of your squad and send it into us. And when we start taking those submissions, we'll put that out on Twitter. You can follow at the People's Pitch on Twitter to get in on that. Otherwise, you can, week to week as you watch the show, we'll call for those submissions and you can send it to us via email. But they're going to choose one each, Max and Jonah, and they're just gonna put a concept squad together based on your players that might only cost you a couple dozen, couple 100,000 coins, depending on how seriously you want to make some changes, and that'll be your suggestion. So that's gonna be Foot Squad Rescue. We're also gonna feature some cheap teams every once in a while. Maybe someone gets into the game late. Maybe you just need a boost or something a little different. So there's going to be plenty of cheap teams out there, cheap beasts to suggest. So Max and Jonah will be able to put together entire teams that might only cost you 100K, 200K and still be competitive. So that'll be a fun segment in the future. But for now, that's going to do it for us. I hope you guys enjoyed this first run through of FUT City. Thank you so much to Jonah and Max. Really excited to see how the first weekend league pans out for you guys. That is going to be next weekend, right? Because this weekend doesn't have a weekend
17th.
league. 17th. Mm-hmm.
Yep, 17th, big weekend.
So we'll be back with our show the week after the 17th to kind of showcase their rewards, showcase their team evolution, and talk a little bit about how they do. Be sure to follow them on Twitch. You've seen it in the chat. You've got twitch.tv/thefootmoose, twitch.tv/Crescencio5. I am at Mexinate on Twitter. You don't want to follow me on Twitch. I'm not very good. But we're gonna definitely follow them, keep up on their gameplay, and really watch them dominate. It's gonna be great. Thank you so much, guys. Max and Jonah, always a pleasure. Thanks to our producer Tyler, and we will see you guys in 2-3 weeks.
Looking forward
Thanks
to
for
it.
having us.